You are also a core surgical trainee, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Just to make sure. All right. Okay, ready?
Yep.
What is up, guys? Nasir here, and welcome to the KharmaKast, a podcast where I just kick back, chill out, and have a relaxed conversation with creators I admire. Today we're joined by Mohammed, otherwise known as That Medic, the king of drip, extrasaucyy, or the OG King's College London Med School YouTuber. He's one of the people I looked up to most when I started making videos, and he's now a core surgical trainee working in London. Mo, welcome to the KharmaKast.
Thank you for having me. What an intro. Honestly, I'm blushing already.
Oh,
outrageous.
What did you think? Was it solid?
It was solid, very accurate. You forgot to say how good looking I am in the intro, but we'll brush over that. It's fine.
You know, I was completely expecting you to have some mad wavy curls going on with your hair, so that's why I didn't put gel in my hair. I tried to get on the waves as well to match you.
Honestly, you would have seen it, but I was doing a bit of DIY today, so I thought I'd get some of the sawdust out of my hair before the podcast.
Fair enough. So yeah, welcome to the KharmaKast, man. I'm happy you were able to come on. I know you're really, really busy these days. Tell me a little bit about that. If we don't know who you are, what are you about? What do you do? And how do we know each other?
Yeah, so my name is Mo. I go by That Medic on YouTube. And when I was 16, I decided that extrasaucyy was a brilliant Instagram handle. So that's what I'm known as on Instagram. By day, I'm the ear, nose and throat SHO, which is part of my core surgical rotations. And by night, I'm a wannabe YouTuber, part-time stunter, like to do a bit of running. Full-time stunter. I used to be a full-time stunter, and then I've decided to step back and become a little bit more grown. So I'm living in London, and I love to go traveling. Made all these videos about traveling and medicine and whatnot. Put them up on YouTube, and then a few people watched them, and since then I've just been, I kept going.
Yeah, more than a few people. I mean, you've been making videos for a long time now. I was just scrolling through your channel, as I usually do before I start these things. And yeah, it's been a long time. You've done a lot of traveling, more than I had originally thought, like more than we've talked about in person. Why did you start making YouTube videos? What got you into it?
All right, so this is not a very well-known fact, but I actually made videos since I was like 10.
KharmaKast exclusive.
This is an exclusive right here. Me and my brother used to go out and we used to do like scenes from movies and record them on iPhones.
Nice.
So do you remember the format 3GP?
No. What is that?
Oh, you're too
young.
Am I too young?
You're too young.
No.
But... Wait, are we not the same age?
Probably.
I'm 25. I think you're 26, right?
I'm 26.
Yeah,
26,
okay,
yeah.
Fair enough. Almost there.
3GP, I'm pretty sure that's the format. And then it was on the old sort of Sony Ericssons. That was the format. It was literally like tiny. We'd go out and film like movies we'd watch a movie like, I don't know, Bad Boys or something. And we try to reenact it. Mm-hmm. And then when I was 15 and 16, I got into making YouTube videos. And I put them online, and I had around 1,000 subscribers in 2010.
That's amazing, man.
Back in the day.
That's amazing.
Back in the day, it was Timothy De La Ghetto. It was that orange that
the annoying orange.
Do you remember?
Yeah, man, of course.
The annoying orange. It was this
Shane Dawson.
Charlie is so cool, like Shane Dawson.
Yeah.
It was those guys, and it was me. Like I was the 5th biggest YouTuber in 2010. And then I got into medical school, and a lot of the videos that I did weren't professional because I was out there having fun on YouTube, which I think these days will be absolutely fine. But back in the day, I got so scared because we had this professionalism talk.
You're right.
So I deleted my Twitter, I deleted my YouTube, I deleted Instagram, I deleted everything. And then later on, as people got more well-versed with what YouTube's about, the benefit that comes from YouTube, I started uploading videos again. But I absolutely just love the process of editing. And you know what?
Tell me.
This is going to sound... I'm my biggest fan. I'm my own biggest fan. Is that the same with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think everything I do, every edit I make, I'm like, that's amazing. Oh, the people are going to love that.
Exactly.
It's so sick. Yeah.
I literally go back and I just rewatch my videos and relive the memories of my time when I was abroad and I was on elective. Like recently I went to, well, not that recent, last year I went to Cape Town and I just spent last night rewatching my elective videos from
Oh
2016.
man.
And that's the
Oh,
benefit of YouTube and like recording these
yeah.
moments and uploading them. Because if you just have unfiled videos,
Mm.
you'll never
You'll
touch it. I've
forget
got
them, man.
20,000.
Yeah.
I've got
I forget so
20,000.
much. Sorry, go ahead. You've got
No,
20,000.
no, go for it. Sorry. I've got 20,000 unfiled videos on
Yeah.
my computer that I never touch. But
So
these
true.
YouTube videos that I've put together, that's what it's all about for me.
It's so true. Like, yeah, I forget so many things that happen in my days and my weeks and my months. And when do I ever sit down and scroll through my phone back to like 2017, 2015? Like it never happens. And I have those nights every now and again, man, where I sit down and I like scroll through my channel. I'm like, oh, let me watch that video. Let me watch that one. And bro, the nostalgia that hits me.
It's wild.
I'm a sucker for nostalgia. It makes me feel
I don't know
some
how to
type of
feel
way.
about it actually, because sometimes I get a little bit upset
Okay, why?
because I just feel that like those days were so brilliant. I'm not sure if I'll have such a great time again. I'm
Oh,
an
that's
adult
sad.
now.
That's
I've
sad,
settled into
man.
surgical training.
Oh, man.
Like I'm bound by the NHS. I'm bound by the
You're slaving
surgical like
away.
TPD. So it's just sometimes I
Ah,
think, you know what, maybe those were the best days and that's it. But other times I think there's more to come.
I think that's kind of how like we are brought up to think that, university are the best days of your life, and then you sort of settle down, get married, have kids, and everything just kind of goes to shit. Wait, where's my sound? I muted it. Shit. I've got all these buttons. I'm trying to use them as we go along. And yeah, man, like that's honestly so sad. I met some of my closest friends in Canada. I met their parents, and their parents host these crazy parties like every couple of months. There's like 40 people in the house. They're living in mansions, like having the time of their lives. And they're like, they're doctors, dentists, accountants, lawyers, whatever. And they still party, they still have fun, they still meet up and hang out. That's what I want my life to be, man. I don't want to slow down, I want to be continuously having fun.
Bro, if you are having fun, invite me because my life has definitely slowed down.
No, I know that's the reality. That's definitely what coming as like time commitments increase and responsibilities and commitments and this and that.
Oh, mate, I hate that word. I hate
Which
that word.
one?
Responsibility, commitment, everything.
Are
just
you
said.
allergic to responsibility and commitment?
I've been avoiding it for the past few years, but it seems like it's catching up.
Speaking
And,
of speaking of responsibility and commitment, man, you've been known to purchase a couple outrageous things in your time.
Go on.
I want to ask you what you think your like worst use of money has been, or something that you've bought that you regret. I know you just made a video about living in a multi-million-pound penthouse, and if it made you happy or not. Which was a good video.
Yeah.
You reflected quite a lot in that, which I liked. But yeah, is there anything you've done that you like instantly regret or something like that?
All right. So what it is that I didn't grow up wealthy. We weren't poor. We weren't rich. We were just sort of in the middle. And growing up, I used to love hip hop culture.
Hey.
So I grew up with Lil Wayne, T-Pain, showing off their chains, their watches, their cars. So that's just like my culture. That's what I've grown to sort of see.
Yeah.
So, when I got to university and the government just gave me, let me borrow £9,000 and deposited 3,000 every term into my account. I just realized that I could do whatever the hell I wanted with it.
No one's going to check.
No one's going to check. So during my time at university, I didn't actually have any outrageous purchases. But when I became a doctor, I really wanted a Gucci tracksuit.
Hey.
And, don't ask me why I wanted a Gucci tracksuit.
That's so random, bro.
I think like all the rappers are wearing it. I want to be
probably.
a rapper. Like, I just went to Harrods and I bought a Gucci tracksuit.
Nice.
And it was a lot of money. And it was probably the only thing I regret. Most things I spend money on, I don't regret.
Fair. I mean, it's kind of like when you get your first paycheck and you frame it and you put it on your wall. That's why I feel like the equivalent of you buying that tracksuit was. It's like, this is a sign of me being independent, making my own money, which I think has a lot of value in itself. You work really hard for a long time to reach a point like that. And so fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, maybe it was too expensive.
And
I don't know how much they cost, but
do you want to know?
yeah, if you're comfortable sharing, go
It
ahead.
was around, I think it was around a bit more than £2,000.
No way, bro.
Yeah, it was silly.
Oh
It was stupid.
my.
That
Wow.
was a month's salary. That was a month's
Whoa.
salary.
Man, yeah, I know you're really into your clothes and your fashion and your shoes, which I'm
Oh
starting to
shit, we didn't even
become.
talk about shoes.
Yeah, we're getting there, man. We're getting there. I'm starting to become more versed in clothing and styling, and if I'm completely honest, mostly because of my girlfriend, man. Like before I met her, I did not care one bit. Like I would wear red on the top, green on the bottom. My hair would be like messy from how I woke up. I just didn't care. I was like, who cares what I look like? It's all about like what I say,
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Like, anyways, as I've grown up, I've changed my mind and my opinion a lot. Um, but I don't think I've quite reached that point where I'm really versed in clothing and styling. But I feel like it's something you really enjoy, something you're really into. So tell me a little bit about that, how you got into it, what you do.
Yeah. Again, it has to be the hip hop like music scene, hype culture, and also there was the idea that you can buy this exclusive piece of clothing
Mm.
and make your money back after wearing it was just phenomenal to me. And
Money
it
back and
started off
more.
with exactly. So when I first bought my Yeezys, I made all my money back after wearing them for like 2 months, and I sold them for
Damn,
more money than I bought them, and I thought that was
amazing.
exceptional. And then I did it again with more Yeezys. Then I did it again with the off-whites,
Mm.
I'm not sure if you've seen it in previous videos. I've had like those off-white like designer
Bro, I've
pieces.
seen them in person as well, man.
I think I wore it to that lecture as well to stunt.
Bro, and you also wore the Balenciaga shoes, the ones that look like
Yeah,
socks.
the
Hey.
trainers. Yeah, like in my first 2 years of as a doctor, I used to spend a lot of money
Mm,
on these sort of designer pieces. And for the most part, I'm actually in the positive. I actually made more money
nice.
by going through those processes. And
Mm.
obviously, I got a lot of interest from patients, from nurses, like wearing Balenci's
What? Did you
to
wear them
work.
to the hospital? No way.
They were my
Bro, you
favorite to wear
madman.
on call
Oh
because they're
my
so
goodness.
comfortable. And you just get so many compliments, and I'm a sucker for
Oh,
compliments.
oh my
Like,
gosh. Bro, you said you were a part-time stunter, easily full-time. Easily.
yeah, things have changed, man. The new core surgical training mode is different.
Oof, man. Oof. Yeah,
I've got a
I'm
new
sure it's
passion. I've got
heavy.
new hobbies.
Fair enough.
I've got new hobbies. Yeah.
You know, the flipping market of things is actually huge, easy to get into, and like a very viable way to make money. A lot of people, I don't think I've ever said this story online, but the way that I got the money to buy my first camera for this YouTube channel was by flipping fidget spinners. And
Really?
yeah, like you know the like plastic ones that you like
Yeah,
spin or whatever.
you used to have them in your videos, but you stopped.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
stopped.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I
I
can't believe you
remember.
know that. That's
Day
crazy.
one, man.
That's crazy, man. That must be somewhere in my drawer if I went to look
Yeah.
for it. It'd make too much noise for the mic, so I'm not going to. But yeah, so that was a brass fidget spinner, okay? Really heavy, and sort of like, not like, what's it called? Like, not a status item, because it's brass, but it's like metal, so it's cooler, right? But there were these fidget spinners made out of all kinds of strange metals, like Damascus. I don't know if you've heard of this before. There's like Damascus, what's it called? Superconductor. Then there's like platinum, titanium, these types of things, right? So I would get into these exclusive Facebook groups and purchase those from people who were making them. At the time, they were like, they would only make 5 and sell them for something like, I don't know, $300. And so I would buy one and then flip it, and then buy one and then flip it. And at some point, I bought one for $1,500 US.
You're joking.
I swear to God, man. I just kept flipping my way up from like a 30-pound like brass one, kept going up and up and up. And I bought one for 1,500. And I remember being so worried. I was like, what if I'm not going to sell this? What if no one buys it? I don't know what. And I think we ended up selling it for like almost $3,000. It was amazing, man. Not even like 5 days
Immediately,
later.
or did you have 5 days?
No.
Wow.
There were only 100 made. It was like by this famous designer. It was a mixture of like brass and titanium and I don't know what. And we managed to snag one. And yeah, resell it 5 days later for almost
That
twice
is
the price.
wild. That's your best investment, isn't it?
I mean, probably, yeah. That's what
That's
started
you
all of
started off
this.
all of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. Damn, it's crazy to think of it like that.
That's wild. But it's all about exclusivity, isn't it?
Yeah,
Whatever it is, whatever you're wearing, if it's exclusive, you know, I want it. If it's exclusive and no one else has got it, I want it.
I
I'm a
want it.
sucker for those things.
Oh, same. I try really hard not to because it's very easy to realize that logically and objectively you shouldn't think that way. And so I try, but it's hard, man. Like even with things like iPhones, like MacBooks, like literally everything in my life, I feel that way. And it takes a lot of effort to sort of try and come back from that, you know?
You know, we talked about how I was a stunter back then. I
Yes.
realized how much of how much like that was all baby moves. Do you know what I'm into now? My latest obsession. We've talked about this previously, I think.
Tell me.
But I love watches.
Mm,
You
nice.
know, I texted you after your video where you went through your watches, and like I'm a sucker for watches, and that's going to
Nice.
be my next big purchase that I'll regret. I'm sure it will be. But
Actually, I don't know that much about watches. I don't know if they hold their value well. Excuse me. I don't know if they hold their value well or if they are just sort of like bad purchases in the sense like cars are bad purchases to buy new. Are they
So,
they
I
worth
mean,
buying?
it's so depending on the watch that you buy, it's all about the reference number and, you know, whether it's
Oh,
exclusive and it goes very detailed. It's not just about having a Rolex, it's about having a Rolex Submariner of this particular reference that will
I
go up
see.
in value, whereas others won't.
I see.
But the idea is that an investment is something that you're going to sell.
Okay.
People buy these watches and they get very excited that, you know, they bought it for 12,000 and now it's worth 20,000, but they never sell it. So actually it's still 12,000 down in the
Yeah.
red that they're under. So, you know, if I was to buy watches, I don't think I'd be flipping them. I think they'll go into the collection and I do want a watch collection. That's my next new obsession, but I'm just
Nice.
waiting for something big to happen. And I think it will probably be when I become a registrar, when I get the training number that I want, that of my dreams, or I hit a milestone like, I don't know,
100,000
what am I at?
subscribers on YouTube.
No, less than that, 27.2K.
You're on your
So
way, man.
next week.
You're on your way, bro. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so if I hit a milestone like 100K, I'll probably get myself a lower tier watch. And if I hit a milestone like 100K, I'll get like a Grail watch.
Nice.
So in the watch world, you've got different levels, different tiers of watches. So like you've got your usual sort of enthusiast watches, like your like Casio G-Shocks are like respected lower
Okay.
tier, and then you go up, you have Longines, and then you go up a tier, and then you have, so you've gone from tens of pounds to hundreds of pounds. Longines are hundreds of pounds. Then you have Tudors, which are 1.5 to 3K or a little bit more. Then you start getting to the lower level tier Rolexes, between sort of 2.5 all the way up to 15, 20K. What I do want, actually, because of our heritage as Arabs, I want to get an Arabic dial.
The Arabic dial. Oh
So,
man, I knew you
so
were gonna
it's
say
the
that.
Roman numerals,
Jeez.
and
They look
that was
so
just
good. Have you seen that video of DJ Khaled talking about his watch collection? He's like, "Yeah, I got that
Yeah, of
Arabic
course.
dial. I don't know what."
Arabic dial. But you know that watch is like, I think it retailed for around 20K. It's worth 75 plus now
Damn.
because of exclusivity.
It's all about that exclusivity, man. Listen, you mentioned our heritage. Yeah. Rumor has it that you speak fluent Arabic.
Right, so
Or
I
some
do
sort
speak
of Arabic.
Arabic.
Okay.
I do speak Arabic.
All right.
There is a English twang
That's cool.
to my Arabic.
That's cool.
So it's a little bit. It's imagine someone speaking Arabic but with an English accent. That's how I speak Arabic.
That sounds interesting, man. Are you down to give me a sentence or two?
Let's
Yeah?
give it a go.
You know, one of my top comments that I get the most is like, please speak Arabic, make an episode in Arabic, do a video in Arabic. So let's try it out, yeah?
How's your Arabic? Oh well, I guess we'll find out. Let's
Yeah.
go.
All right. مرحبا مو كيفك؟
Alhamdulillah, شو اخبارك؟
الحمد لله الحمد لله. فسمعت انه بتحب ساعات كتير وكنا عم نحكي عن سيارات كمان. ايش اول سيارة بدك تشتريها ب5 سنين؟
5 سنين. أنا اشتريت مرسيدس من 3 سنين. بس بدي اشتري رينج روفر.
alright.
الفوق الكبيرة سودا.
حلوة.
العجال يكونوا سود.
شوية كروم. All right, lovely.
كروم.
Lovely, lovely. For all the people listening who don't speak Arabic, which is probably the majority, we'll switch back to English now. But I had to see it for myself. I had to confirm it from Mo.
What do you think? Out of 10, go on, break my Arabic.
Yeah, no, it's fine, man. Like my view on accents and languages is that even if your grammar is wrong, even if your accent is like totally quote unquote whack or whatever, as long as you get your point across, like I think it doesn't matter at all. And this is from personal experience growing up in Greece. I never took a single Greek lesson in my life, but I understand it very, very well. I speak it in like okay, but like my grammar's wrong, my like female, male pronouns are like wrong. But I honestly don't care, man. Like everyone who I talk to understands what I'm saying. They know I'm not a fluent Greek speaker, which is fine. But yeah, I think if you have confidence in what you're saying and you just go for it, like nobody really cares at the end of the day.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I'm trying to work on it, but I'm a little bit self-conscious about my Arabic, especially when I speak it with my friends who speak fluent Arabic.
I'm sure they give you a lot of make a lot of fun. Yeah,
so much stick.
Mo, I want to take it back to the day that we met. Do you remember the day that we met?
Of course. I think it was in March 2019.
I actually don't remember the
I'm gonna be confident. I'm gonna say the 24th of March 2019. We'll fact check that.
Yeah, we'll fact check that.
I've just got a gut feeling. I was invited by the Anatomy Society here at King's College London.
Do you remember who invited you by any chance?
Georgina, wasn't it?
Yeah, she's my good friend at King's. Shout out
yeah.
Georgina.
yeah. You were both sat front row. I remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
I chatted to you at the start briefly, and then we got chatting afterwards. So yeah, I gave a talk. How was the talk? Was it all right?
Guys, Mo gave such a fantastic talk. He was invited by my friend Georgina to give a talk to the Anatomy Society about anatomy, okay? Mo shows up and doesn't spend a single second talking about anatomy. He literally just talks about his experiences in medical school, his experience on placement, just has fun, interacts with the crowd. I remember I came to Mo because I knew him from YouTube. And I think I had like 500 subscribers at the time or something like that. Mo was like close to 10K. He was like really inspirational for me making my videos and my vlogs and things like that. And so I came to see him and he gave this amazing speech and I was like, wow, he just spoke for an hour, so charismatic, really funny, just natural.
I'm so sorry, bro. It's timed out.
Yeah, that's cool. Restart the camera. All right, so brief technical difficulties with Mo's camera, but we're back. I was in the middle of saying how Mo gave this amazing speech, and at the end, he had like a little Q&A session, and I went up to him to get a photo with him and ask him, how did you just stand up there and give such a fantastic speech for a whole hour, no breaks, no like coughing, clearing your throat, anything like that. So Mo, I want to ask you, man, how are you so charismatic? How are you so social and fun and bubbly? And what can I do to be like that?
All right. So first of all, I think it's important to give you a bit of background. I went to an all-boys school where it was all about how quick-witted you were and how funny you were and how the comebacks came. So from a young age, I've been getting roasted on a regular basis. And just through trial and error of me coming up with crap comebacks, rubbish, witty remarks, and then just having my like self-belief getting completely torn down and then me having to rebuild it, I've actually developed this sort of confident persona around me. Okay. And then the second thing is I used to love the Fresh Prince.
Okay.
I love the Fresh Prince. So I used to go around and I used to try to embody Will Smith's persona.
All right.
In the Fresh Prince. They're the two keys to my confidence.
Oh man, that's something that I have zero skill in. This witty comeback type of thing. Like if someone ever makes fun of me or pokes fun of me in my friend group, which like happens all the time, you know how it is. I'll just be like, ha ha ha, and like move on. I won't ever like come back and insult someone or like make a joke at them. I just don't have it in me, man. Like I don't know if I don't think on my feet. Do you enjoy it? Or what it is.
Would you enjoy it?
No, honestly, I don't like I banter with people all the time, but like those like witty insults, Like I don't know. That makes me sound really boring, but
Not at all, not at all.
I don't know.
If you don't enjoy it, a lot of people don't enjoy it. I've come across people that don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I personally absolutely love it. You know, when there's that tiny line between like upsetting someone and
roasting
having
them.
the most amount of fun. And my favorite thing to do with my friends is to just walk along this tiny little line.
Nice. I'm waiting for you to roast me, man. Honestly, I've
Don't worry, it'll
written
come.
down all my comebacks, any personal insults I can make that don't cross the line too much. You know.
Don't worry, I'll start some YouTube beef and get that AdSense rolling in. Don't worry.
Yeah, start calling me out. Kharma Medic
Pay for my
exposed
Rolex that
videos,
way.
man. Bro, I think all my close friends, and then a lot of people I meet at medical school, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna make a Kharma Medic exposed video." People take notes on their phone anytime I say something quote unquote dodgy or blah blah blah.
No.
I mean, they're joking.
As a
You
joke,
know,
yeah.
as a joke, but like, who knows? You know, we'll see. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But I've had a lot of people say the same joke to me as well, you know.
yeah, it's
That's
a thing,
interesting.
man. It's a thing. People are like, ha ha ha, I'm gonna expose you. I mean, like my boys, like obviously that's never gonna happen. But like
Yeah.
people I don't know that well on placement say that to me. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch myself. I'm gonna make sure I'm
That's
as
so
pristine.
unfortunate. You can't be yourself
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's a bit annoying, isn't it?
I had this one experience, man, on my placement earlier this year. If the person, this will somehow get back to the person who it was, but anyways, it's fine. I'm not going to mention their name.
Do you want me to speak to them?
No. Mo, could you please help me out?
I've got your back, Kharma, wherever you need.
Nah,
No
man.
one speaks to my boy.
We were just on placement, and this person couldn't get over the fact that like I had this YouTube channel and like my online name was Kharma Medic, and this person would just shout across the hallway in the hospital like, "Oh, Kharma Medic, this and that," and just, you know, constantly bring up like these awkward scenarios and like mention YouTube videos and these types of things in places where they just don't belong, man. Like, you know, I have no problem talking about my YouTube channel, like this Kharma Medic thing and everything. I love it so much, but there's a time and a place, and there's a way you can approach it that's like sensitive and like friendly, and then there's a way where it's like they're trying to bring you down, and it's just like, why are you doing this? You know, there's no need for this. But then I guess you get you get the total opposite as well. People are like really interested and they want to know more, and yeah, there's both sides, I guess.
To be honest, I've had exactly the same experience. I was actually on call as the general surgical SHO, and one of the registrars who, you know, I'm friends with, but during the middle of the handover, they go, "Oi, Hollywood, put the scan up," or something like that. And then it was just a bit of an awkward sort of environment that was created where the consultants who had no idea who I was or why I was being referred to as Hollywood. I'm not even Hollywood, mate. I'm barely like UK or...
It's so uncalled for, man. It's just, it's that sense of envy, you know? And
That's what it is.
I can stand here and say with my hand on my heart that like not once in my life have I like been envious of someone else and like tried to do something negative to them because of that. Like I can't even remotely relate to that feeling, you know? And it bugs me sometimes. It's like why?
I think it's just people are built different. So certain people will see a video or someone's success and think, you know, I'm now being motivated to get my shit together. You need to bleep that. and work harder. So like, for example, it's interesting because I started my YouTube channel before Ali Abdal, before yourself, before most people, actually. I was like one of the originals.
The OGs, man, I'm telling you.
I didn't commit to YouTube. I took hiatuses of 3 months, 6 months. I just made videos of me going on holiday and having a good time, not really adding much value to people's lives. And, you know, I saw Ali Abdal's success, and then I had a conversation with Ali Abdal. I saw your success. I've had multiple conversations with you. And your success, mashallah, and like, may you grow even bigger and everything, has only just motivated me to be more consistent and to add value to my audience's lives. And, you know, it just drove me to work harder at this platform. But I think it's just people are just built differently.
Yeah. You get a mix of both. And then like I told you the story the other day, but I think it's funny and I should bring it up again. The surgeon walked into the room introduces himself to everyone and turns to me and he's like, hey, like, what's your name? I'm like, oh, I'm Nasir. I'm a fourth year medical student. He's like, all right. And says, do you know who this guy is? Do you know who this is? This is Kharma Medic. This guy has 700,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm just like, what is going on? What is going on here?
Time and place.
Super friendly.
Like, that's unfortunate, because when that gets brought up, your experience as a student experiencing that particular surgery for the first time will most definitely be skewed. You might not want to ask a silly question, which we all have in our minds. You might not want to ask where we're at in the operation. What's that?
Yeah.
I've asked silly things in surgery before, like, is that the aorta or the vena cava or something similar to that extent, which is pretty, like elementary.
You get grilled for that,
like high school stuff. And sometimes you're just not thinking, or sometimes you're overwhelmed by whatever you're seeing. Yeah. And I think when someone brings something like that, you just probably feel a bit more reserved, because you think, oh crap, what are they going to think?
It's so true, man. It's so true. It honestly just depends it depends like what they think. Do they think what I'm doing is a positive thing? It's adding value? Or do they think I am really annoying? I'm doing something that is going against like what medicine stands for and this and that. I don't know. Some people do think that.
Yeah.
And that is a nervous, puts me in a nervous position, man. You just don't know. And then you get people who I spend the entire day with, and then at the end of the day, they're like, are you by any chance that guy who makes videos on YouTube? And then I'll just go through my head like, what kind of things did I ask today? Did I come across as really stupid? Like, it just opens up this box of things for me. And I try to ignore that as much as possible and just like be like, just pretend everybody knows exactly what you do on YouTube, or that everybody doesn't, and just forget about it. Try not to let it like impact how you do things, how you ask questions, because obviously it shouldn't at all. But yeah, when people bring it up, sometimes it's like puts me in an awkward position,
Yeah, I mean, during university, I don't think I uploaded many videos because I was really nervous about what the university had to say. And I only started uploading once I'd graduated, because I'm not sure if you know, but there's a few older YouTubers that started uploading and then stopped because they had trouble with their universities. And so I used to hear all these scare stories, so I just stayed away from it. But I can't imagine, as a student, you're technically like, you're living the best days of your life, you're asking silly questions, you're turning up to placement, you're leaving placement. To do that with an online presence, I think that would be the most difficult thing.
It is really something else. I'm very careful about what I share online, genuinely. And like the opinions that I talk about and like what I show, what I don't show, I'm very careful, because I don't want to put anything that I'm doing at risk. My primary goal in life is to become a doctor, and that is my priority, and that's what I want to achieve. All this YouTube stuff is really fun. I'm having a great time, and it could go many places in the future, but my number one priority is to be in medical school, and I don't want to jeopardize that at all. So yeah, it's what you said. You hear these stories.
Absolutely. I think I agree with you. Like, I would, if something happened on my channel that would jeopardize my surgical training, the channel goes without even a thought to it. At the moment, it's fun. It seems that I'm helping people, and hopefully in the future I'll be making a little bit of money, which will allow me to buy my Rolexes and my Range Rovers whilst being a surgical trainee.
Imagine that.
That's the dream, though, isn't it? Yeah. Like, being comfortable financially and a doctor is just the dream.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the situation Ali Abdal is in now, where he doesn't need to work. He doesn't need to go in and be a doctor and slave away at all the hours. He can kind of just go if he wants to. And if he feels
that's not very compatible with most training programs, though.
No, definitely.
That'll only really work for him as a GP.
Yeah, it's pretty much
it. Or if he does less than full-time training in the emergency department, perhaps. But as a surgical trainee, anesthetics, most medical training programs, it's not going to happen.
No, you're absolutely right. It's only if you're like a locum doctor, you take an F3 or an F4, or like you said, you become a GP, which maybe he wants to do. I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think Ali is going to go back to medicine?
I don't know. I think I would be at least a bit surprised if he didn't at all. Because he doesn't come across to me as one of those people who was forced into medical school and just had to go because his parents told him to, or because it's the only thing he knew. I think he does genuinely have that like passion for medicine, maybe not like as the primary driving force in life, but I think it's something that he does actually enjoy. So I'll be shocked if he doesn't return to it at all. But at the same time, he can kind of just not return to it now, stay on his rocket ship to the moon, and set himself up for life, and then come back later. You know, it is never too late to become a doctor, or he's already a doctor, to go back to training, you know? So.
Exactly. No, I think that's probably the case. I think that he'll probably take a few years out, set up a few successful businesses, and then come back to medicine purely for enjoyment, because he loves physiology. Remember, he's a Cambridge grad. Like, he loves all of the stuff that I run away from. He's out there like doing it over and over and teaching it. So I think good luck to him, man. He's doing bits.
Absolutely. He's paved the path, man. Like, genuinely, he's set an example for what you can do being a doctor. And oh man, I feel like I need my inhaler. Keep me clear my throat. Being a doctor and
by giving you bronchoconstriction.
You know,
it's Valentine's Day and all. I got my mug.
Nice. Yeah, no. Like, I have asthma, and sometimes when I laugh too much, that's my number one trigger for like asthma and needing my inhalers, laughing too much. So yeah, I think that's what's happening now. But anyways,
like, weirdly, I've just had this like goal in mind, which is to make you laugh so hard that you start coughing. That's like my new target now.
Oh my gosh. It'll probably happen.
Did you have asthma as a child?
Yeah. So I've had asthma since a child. Do I swim? Yeah, I used to swim. Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
But I've had asthma since before I swam, like before I went to school.
Okay. Most people I've met start swimming because I think there's like I'm not sure if there's any evidence behind it, but I think it helps with asthma, it improves your lung capacity or something.
Oh, maybe.
So I used to have childhood asthma as well, and I used to swim.
I have an insane lung capacity. Like in our high school in grade 13.
Did you measure it?
Yeah, in our high school in grade 13, like we had to do biology projects for IB or whatever, and somebody's project was lung capacity, and I had the largest lung capacity in the whole grade. So,
really?
Yeah. Your boy can breathe.
How tall are you?
I'm 188.
188, because I'm 6'2".
Yeah. I remember when I saw you. You were really tall, man. I remember you were just overshadowing me. I was like, damn, this guy has the flowy hair. He's super tall, jacked. Oh man, he's got it all, man.
As well. I need to get back into that.
Same, man, same. Oh, this lockdown has screwed me. But you know what also screwed me, which I think you share, is my love for running. Man, I can't stop running. Literally, I've ran the last couple of days. It was snowing and it was icy. I ran yesterday at 11:30 till 12:30 at night. I love running, bro. It's amazing.
We have similar 10K times. We should go out on a run.
Yeah, you know, I went for my first run with somebody while we were talking the whole time. And when I went, I had my headphones on. And he's like, are we not going to talk? And I was like, is that even possible? And so we were like, okay, let's try. And I thought I wasn't going to make it, to be honest. You know, I breathe really heavy when I run. But it was okay, man. It actually worked out. So I'm happy to run anytime.
I love it.
Regent's Park, Hyde Park.
I love it.
I'll meet you, man.
100%.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I mean, my favorite thing to do is to go on a 10K, not like gunning it, like a slow pace. Not slow, but like
your slow pace is like 4:30
the whole way through. Yeah, 4:30. You know, talking pace.
Man. Oh my goodness, nah. My talking pace is probably like 5. But anyways, we'll adjust. You'll slow down and match my pace. Yeah, man. No, running is incredible, man. Like, you know when they talk about a runner's high? No, I don't cycle.
Sorry, carry on. Talk.
I was saying, you know when they talk about a runner's high? Like, I can't relate anymore, man. When I'm running and I'm listening to my rap music, I feel like I'm in a movie, bro. You know, I'm just like rapping, moving my hands about, like having the best time, de-stressing. I'm high on life when I go for a run, man. It's honestly the best.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things to do.
And I know you cycle quite a bit. I've tried it a couple of times, but the honest truth is that I'm too skinny and don't have enough of a backside to sit on a cycle for that long. The honest truth, man.
Here's the trick, bro. I'm
Can't
gonna let
believe
you
I've
in on a
said that on a
secret.
podcast. Jesus.
Bro, first of all, we'll get those booty gains in, don't worry. Number two,
Yeah.
the trick is never to sit down. You
What?
have to like hover on the seat. So you have to be putting enough pressure on each like pedal
Yeah.
that you don't actually completely sit down.
I don't know if I've got the
That's
quads
the
for that,
trick.
man. I don't know if I've got the
We'll
quads
get
for
them.
that. I can work on it though.
We'll get them. Get the teardrop. We'll get it sculpted, vastus
Ooh,
medialis,
that teardrop.
lateralis, everything, man.
Oh, yeah. I was like, how does he know those? Like, I don't remember those. But nah, your core surgical training now, your anatomy must be on point.
It's pretty good. To be honest, we go to Imperial. I know, I'm sorry, but we have to go to
Shame.
Imperial to do. I know, shame. We do dissections at Imperial every alternate week
Oh, that's awesome.
pre-lockdown.
I didn't know that at all. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
And then next year I'll
Mhm.
be teaching as one of the demonstrators, which is
Oh
a
my
pretty
God.
cool perk of being a London trainee.
Man, if I was a medical student and that medic was my anatomy demonstrator, I would go crazy, bro. I would go crazy. You're not gonna be able to
That'll
teach,
be
man.
wild.
Everyone's gonna be roasting you. All the girls gonna be flirting with you, man. You're not gonna be able to get any teaching done.
Bro, who needs anatomy anyway? Let's be honest.
Oh, mad, man. Mad. So yeah, you're currently a core surgical trainee. That's
Mm.
right. And you're doing it at like one of the most sought after hospitals. Like I think the placement you have is, one of the best in the country. How did you manage? How did you get it, man? What's your advice on that?
All right. So the first thing is I perform quite well at interview.
Hmm. Yeah, no doubt.
That's
No doubt. Yeah, you're
I've actually got
charismatic
a
as
fun story
hell.
about interviews. Should I tell a story about my interview?
Absolutely, man. Go ahead.
For my King's College London interview
Mm.
back in 2011, when I first, no, 2010 maybe, I don't even
Oh
know,
my
long time
goodness,
ago. I'm an
ages
old
ago.
man. When I turned up to the interview, I was so excited. This
Mm.
was my first ever medical interview.
Yeah.
I was so excited that I was chatting to everyone. I turn up, I'm chatting to the receptionist. I'm like just chatting shit, like just complete like nonsense the whole way through.
Nice.
And then I sit down and then all the candidates are around. I'm looking around to see how everyone's doing. And I'm literally like, looked over to the person next to me. There was a girl sat there. And I was like, oh, this is so exciting. Like, I've never had an interview before. Is this your first interview? And she just ignored me and just sat still.
The classic.
And then the receptionist was like, you need to leave. Like, you're,
You're killing everyone's vibe, bro.
you're literally like, you're scaring people. Like, you need to just chill.
Oh,
Your energy is too much for this room.
oh, damn.
And I had to leave like until it was 5 minutes before my
Oh my
interview, and then I
God.
had to sit in silence.
You got put in the corner, man.
Oh my God. And then when I got in, I was just on one. Like I was
Nice.
just so excited.
Nice.
And then these two interviewers, who I forget their names, but they were talking to me, and then they're trying to compare like because I did history for A level, and I was talking about history for some odd reason. Honestly, God knows why I was talking about history in a medical school interview.
All right.
But the guy was like, "Well, it seems like you've got a lot of passion towards history," and I was like, "Yeah."
Why
And
don't you
he's
go
like, "Why
study
do you do
history?
history?"
Oof, that's a
Exactly.
tough one. Damn.
And then I was like, maybe you're right. Maybe I should study history.
Genuinely?
I just turned it into a joke, and then everyone started cracking up,
Oh,
and then we just
man.
moved on. So,
Nice.
I actually like interviews.
I,
The way I see it is you've done all this work,
mm,
I've my lead up to core surgical training has been years, foundation training, foundation 2 years of me just wanting this. And I've done all this work, and this was my time to shine. Like
yeah.
that's how I view it. So I'm not nervous, I'm excited, and
I envy you,
don't get me
man.
started. Like
I envy you, man. I can't even
you get
describe,
nervous.
bro. I'm the literal opposite of what you just described. I'm
Really?
sweaty, I'm shaking, my voice is cracking, clearing my throat every 5 seconds. Bro, my interview game, like once I get comfortable in the environment, I'm fine. But that like beginning and the waiting before, it's some of the most stressful times like I've ever been in.
Really?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And it sucks because it's what you said. Like, you've put in so much time and effort, and this is kind of that one chance that you have to go for it. And if you are really nervous like me, and that's impeding your ability to express yourself and do all the things that you want to do, yeah, it's a terrible feeling. It's definitely happened to me a couple of times. My King's interview was not like that at all, because I had prepared so much. I was also a lot older. I had already completed a first degree, and I was really confident walking into that interview. And so, I was, like you said, like cracking jokes with people, laughing, having a good time, having chilled conversations. Same with my Bristol interview, actually. So that went well. But generally, how I feel about interviews is what I said before. And it's tough, man. I envy that. I'm trying to work on.
You know what? I think part of it comes from my, honestly, like an unshaken belief that it is what it is. Like whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
If I go in and I completely flunk this interview, like I can't change that. Yeah. Like I genuinely believe in predestination. I believe that there's a route for you, and you might go like a little bit left, a little bit right, but for the most part, you're going to be on this route, and it's already been filled out for you. And if you don't get to where you hope to be, that's for the best. And okay. I actually believed this. The first time I sort of like palpably believed this was when I had my bike stolen in my first year of university. I had a brand new bike, a Fuji track bike. It was around £480. It wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
And after 2 weeks of using it and loving it, someone nicked it from campus. And I was so sad. And I told my mum about it. And then my mum was like, it's for the best. There's a route, who knows? You might have been on that bike and a car could have hit you, or a truck could have hit you. So like, the bigger picture is that bike was stolen to protect you from a greater evil. So that's how I've seen it.
All right.
And do you know what's mad, Nasir?
Tell me.
Is on my way home that day, there was a bike accident, literally at the crossing near the university.
Damn.
And I literally, like, in that moment, everything made sense to me.
Clicked, yeah.
And it was so clear that if I had been on that bike, that could have been me in that accident. And it was a really bad accident that the red ambulance, the helicopter, landed.
Yeah.
And they took him away to the Royal Free, Royal London even. Yeah. So like since that day, I've never like
just
doubted.
believed in predestiny and fate and everything.
That's
like
it.
That. Fair.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Like in a similar sense, I guess, one of my like core underlying principles in life is that, as long as you make the right decision with the information that you have at the time, whatever happens after that doesn't matter at all. So how I call it is not being results oriented. So you do your choices at the beginning, and then whatever the result is out of your control. And I feel that way about exams. I feel that way about YouTube videos, like whatever, meeting people, everything like that. To not be results oriented, to make the best decision you can at the time. And then, like you said, whatever happens, happens. And yeah, genuinely in my life, the longest I can stay angry or annoyed at something is like maybe 5 minutes, like 10 minutes. Oh, I had to clear my throat there. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And then, it's just like, it's whatever. Like I move on with it. And yeah, kind of like it is what it is, I guess. It
is what it is. It's honestly like, I think a lot of people spend a lot of time worrying about things that are completely out of their control. So I really don't. Like I leave exams and I never think about it again until my results. And if I pass, I pass. If I fail, I fail. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
There's a bigger plan.
I mean, I leave an exam and I go home and I start Googling all the questions I remember. I write everything down. I talk to other classmates. I'm like, yo, like, what was this question? What did you put for that? But I only do that with people who actually want to do that as well. Like we have a communal understanding that this is what we're going to do post-exam.
What's the motive? Is it to learn?
So at that time, you can't learn very much, like right after the exam. There isn't much to learn. It's more of like, I can't wait kind of to find out how I did. I want to have some sort of like gauge. I don't care how I did compared to other people. I want to know, like, for me, was it like good, better than average, or worse than average. That's my motive. Like, I just want to have some sort of idea so that when the grade comes, like, I know the ballpark, I guess. Even though, if I'm honest, it never correlates, and I don't know. It's more of like a to feel better safety mechanism
Do you
than
feel
anything
better?
else. When I talk about the questions, yeah, absolutely.
Always.
Like, always. Like, I can confidently say, I feel like I'm going to get a bunch of flack for this, but I can confidently say I've never walked into an exam feeling unprepared. Like, literally not once in my life. And so, worst case scenario, when I leave an exam, I will have done, like, not as good as I usually do, you know? And the reason for that is because I prepare very intensely beforehand, and I don't leave things till the last minute, and I'm, like, smart about how I plan out my time and whatever. Because the alternate scenario of not being prepared is a huge, like, cause of anxiety for me, you know? That would scare me to death. And so I avoid that at all costs by preparing, by doing my studying, whatever. And that's why I feel confident to say whatever happens, happens. And I'm not going to care if my exam result is good or bad, and I'll just work on whatever I did before.
So for me, this is going to sound so silly, but I've got good reasoning.
Okay.
I leave every exam believing I scored 100%.
Nice.
Because, like, if I didn't think that was the right answer, why would I have put it?
What if you guess?
So, yeah, but I've guessed the best answer in my opinion.
Educated guess.
Educated guess. I've never, like, just completely blanked out because I prepare so much for my exams. I'm exactly like you. Like, I've never walked into an exam unprepared. I've been through all of the, you know, some people chance it and don't revise certain topics.
Bro, never
I've
in
never
my life, man.
done that in my life.
Never in my life.
I've revised
Yeah,
every single lecture multiple times before sitting it.
Same.
But yeah, so I leave an exam elated because I'm like 100% got it in the bag.
Oh,
I've never once got 100% in a medical school exam. I got close to in an OSCE, but not like ever in a written exam.
That's really impressive, though.
And yeah, I do really well in my OSCEs. I absolutely love OSCEs.
No doubt. I bet your rapport is like on point. Do I want to see this doctor again? Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure you smashed the OSCE stations.
I'm so lovely to patients, and they love me for it. So
nice. Have you ever gotten any like really nice compliments from patients in the hospital or anything like? Has anyone tried to give you a gift? That's an interesting one, actually.
No one's given me a gift actually, but I get a lot of. I don't want to say a lot, but multiple times people have tried to see me privately.
Oh, how does that work?
They can't. You're not allowed to see me privately, but they're literally like, you know, you've been so incredible, you've been so lovely. Is there any chance that we can see you privately so we don't have to go through your consultant or like the greater system?
That's amazing.
And obviously that's like the biggest compliment.
Yeah,
like people are willing to pay you for your time when there's a free service available. Like that's happened a few times. It happened very recently, actually, last week or so. The scenario was that someone had BPPV, which is
benign positional something vertigo.
Paroxysmal vertigo. Essentially, where you got crystals in your ear which tell your head where it is in position. The crystals are a little bit dislodged, so where your head's straight, your sort of your body thinks it's actually to the side or moving around, and they get this intense sort of vertigo feeling. And I took a very thorough history, worked out what it was, and then performed the treatment for it. And they were just in love with me. They were like, this guy, he treated me, he like fixed my problem. And because it happens to her like every month, and she always gets misdiagnosed, and she gets CT scans and MRIs and all this other stuff. And then she was just literally like, please, can I just see you every time? And I was like, I'm sorry, you can't.
That's one of those conditions where you get immediate relief or like an immediate change in your situation. And so I think that's probably why I was like, oh my god, like please always do that for me, come back.
Absolutely. Yeah, like it's my favorite condition, I think, to treat.
Oh yeah,
because of that immediate satisfaction. You get the diagnosis, you do the treatment, they walk out feeling incredible.
Similarly, I saw someone get cardioverted who was who had a supraventricular tachycardia with adenosine. Adenosine? Yeah, that's right. And yeah, that was also like instant relief. You know, you go from this impending sense of doom, oh my gosh, like my heart's beating out of my chest, to homeostasis and relaxation. And I thought that was incredible as well.
Did you see what they looked like when you gave adenosine?
Yeah, really, like,
Pretty
yeah,
scary.
even worse. Yeah. You know,
So the first time I gave adenosine,
yeah,
I told the patient, we're going to give you this medication and you're going to feel better afterwards.
you forgot
And
the
then
in the
my
middle
reg
part.
intervened and was like, nah, that's not what's going to happen. We're going to give you this medication. You're going to feel absolutely rubbish.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you'll feel better. And I was like, okay, sorry.
Apparently, it feels like you're gonna die. Like they just
Your
say,
heart
like,
stops,
yeah.
the rhythm stops, and then you
Oh
see
my
it
gosh.
flatline on the trace, and then it restarts, and you're
Oh
like,
my gosh.
woo.
Ooh. Jeez,
It's
man.
a good drug. It's one of my favorite drugs to give. I've had to give it a few times,
Uh-huh.
usually with a registrar with me, but it's always fun. What's the half-life?
10 seconds.
Exactly, around 6 to 10 seconds. So you need to flush it. You need to bang out that saline straight through. You're doing
Nice.
well. You're doing well.
Yeah, I forgot paroxysmal. I'm almost there.
It's all right, man. 99% will take it.
Yeah. You just said it's one of your favorite drugs to give. Do you have a favorite drug or like a favorite condition?
100%, of course.
What is it?
I love giving adenosine. That's
Okay.
like, it's one of those things where it's just a quick fix, you know?
And you know you're gonna get a
And
compliment after, so you're like ready for it. You know?
I've never had a compliment after adenosine. That's a good drug to give.
Yeah.
I also love dexamethasone.
Okay.
So that's become my new favorite drug because on ear, nose, and throat, we have a lot of upper airway emergencies where someone's struggling to breathe because of edema, infection, and it just gets swollen. And dexamethasone is beautiful. It melts away
Does it work that
swelling.
fast?
It just removes it. Literally within 3-4 hours, you're looking at a brand new patient.
Oh, okay. 3-4 hours. Like, okay.
3-4
That's the
hours,
timeline I
yeah,
was
but
thinking.
like,
Okay.
yeah, it's a few hours. But like you go see the patient, they're like stridor, they can't breathe, they're not able to swallow their saliva.
Yeah.
And you put the camera in, you see everything is inflamed. And instead of their like airway being like this big, it's like tiny. And then you give them the steroid and then you rescope if you want. And everything's just so much better. So
Amazing.
dexamethasone, steroids are just beautiful.
Nice. I feel like you should make a video where you do one of those tier list videos about different drugs
Oh yeah,
or
I've seen
different like
those, yeah.
conditions. Have you seen the one
should
that
do that.
Medlife Crisis has done about organs?
But the organs, yeah.
That guy's
That was great.
hilarious.
That was great. I feel that he, the nose and the ear and the and the larynx.
You should do an ENT one,
Didn't
yeah.
In fairness, the larynx is A. A to E.
Oh,
It's the
yeah,
first
true.
thing.
It's
So that
most
should be
important,
right up there. Without a larynx, you haven't got a heart. So
Nice.
I wanted to send him a message, but I was like, I'm not going to get involved. I'll
Oh,
let him do his
you
bit.
should comment down
The
below.
heart is up there.
How are you finding your YouTube like journey at the moment and content creation and things like that while being, a core surgical trainee, having all these demands outside of YouTube?
Honestly, I'm actually really struggling. At the moment, I feel that there's probably a point where you create enough videos that it becomes second nature to you. You could literally just put up a camera, speak at it for 20 to 30 minutes, and then you can edit it for an hour or 2 hours, and then you can get it up. So from start to finish, it's like a 3-hour journey. At the moment, it's closer to sort of a 6-hour, 7-hour, like half a day's work.
Yeah.
Previously, it was like a full day's work. And I think the more videos I'm uploading, the shorter that time is getting. But at the moment, I'm actually really struggling because I feel that my YouTube algorithm really responds to me uploading twice a week. When I've dropped down to once a week, my subscribers aren't seeing the videos.
Right.
I'm getting less impressions, less people are seeing it. People are messaging me being like, when are you going to upload? And I'm like, hey, I just dropped one last week. So I think I'm trying to do 2 videos a week, and it's now being like a full day's work. So 12 to 14 hours to get those videos out. And then on top of that, surgical training, I absolutely love. Like I could never see myself leaving. But before COVID, when it was we were in theaters. I'd be in theaters at 6 a.m. I'd probably leave 6 p.m., 7 p.m. And then, I'm back home 8, 9. So during, the full day's work.
Yeah.
And then when you're on call and it's 13 hours, you do 20,000 steps. Like, it's manic in this hospital, which is incredible for training. It's incredible. Like, I love being busy at work because I'm learning more. The more I get exposed to, the more confident I'll be, because it just means that when there's an emergency in the future where I'm unsupported or I'm the registrar, I've encountered this before. So I'm really grateful when it's busy. So I'm, with YouTube and then surgery, just the day job, that already is looking into a 70, 80-hour week.
Yeah.
Without socializing, running, exercise, all of that
just
stuff.
Being a human.
Exactly. And then on top of that, to get into higher surgical training, I need to publish 4 first author publications. I need to complete 4 first author audit loops. I need to do a master's degree, which a lot of people do part-time. I need to sit my DONS examination, which I'm sitting in. It was supposed to be last week, but it's been rescheduled to May. And then on top of that, I need to do extracurricular activities for over 6 months.
Wait, is this just to move past core surgical training?
This is to get a registrar number in ear, nose and throat, which is one of the most competitive specialties. Last year, there were it was 5-to-1 ratio people getting in. And these are people that got through core surgical, which was bloody competitive to get into anyway. So it's literally just a pyramid of competition. So at the moment, although I'm smiling, I'm actually crying inside, because I know I've got, after this, I'm probably going to be writing a paper or completing a paper. I've done the most of it. And it's like a conveyor belt. And I think it does get better once you get into registrar training, because everything else sort of can relax. You've got your training number, for the next 6 years, you're going to be in this area and you're going to be trained.
Wow, man, that sounds really stressful. This is this is really one of the negative aspects of medicine, in that the intense workload never stops and the competition never stops, exams, interviews. And, everyone you're competing against is really on point. Nobody's gotten to the point that you're now applying for things where they sort of slipped by, fell through the cracks. Everyone is really on top of their game, and you have to, unfortunately, outcompete them to get to do what you want to do. That's tough, man. 4 first author papers, 4 closed loop audits. And this is what, in how many years? Over what time period are all of these?
As in you just need them. So some people will take multiple years out and keep reapplying, third time, fourth time applying. Others will literally go F1, F2, CT1, CT2, and bam, they've got everything in order and they're ready to go ahead. These are the guys that do their exams in F1 when they're supposed to be having a good time. And then they'll do a master's between F2 and CT1 part-time and all this other stuff. And, I've thought about it, and I think I was going to start a part-time master's this year to get the points on the application. But then I thought to myself, this whole process is about jumping through the hoops. I probably will benefit from the masters. It might make me a better surgeon, but the driving force, the reason for doing that masters is purely to get points on my application.
Yeah.
Doing 4 audits probably will make you a better surgeon, because, you're all about quality improvement. But I also feel that if you did 1 really high quality audit, that's probably worth way more than writing 4 on there. But they just need to increase it to filter the number of people applying, because it's just ridiculous.
Damn. All right.
Have you thought about what specialties you want to do?
Not ENT. We'll start there.
ENT. Or plastics. Plastics is another dreadful one.
Oh, man. What I'm currently, GP is still something I'm considering for that work-life balance. I feel like it's such a great thing to be able to have medicine be a part of your life, but not your entire life. If that's what you're about, if you want to go full steam ahead for medicine, that's also cool. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoy everything outside of medicine as well, and I want to make sure I'm able to do that. So, GP is up there. Throughout my time in medical school, what I've been most attracted to is ED. I've just really enjoyed the variety of patients that you see, how much you see in a day, the turnover, and you really are quite hands-on. I feel like in the ED, there's a lot of senior support. You're never really by yourself making decisions. And yeah, there's a lot of negative aspects to it as well. Everyone complains about the rotas and all kinds of things, but those are sort of the two things that I'm looking at now. I'm keeping my mind very open though. I don't want to close myself off before I get too deep in one area.
Oh, for sure. ED is fantastic, and there is possibility of less than full-time training that exists. Less than full-time training exists officially, but certain specialties like surgical training, where you're reliant on an individual training you and taking time out of their day to help you become a better surgeon, you being less than full-time and only turning up to certain parts of the week, because as a higher surgical trainee, you follow the consultant around, like your ex-consultant's registrar.
I see.
So you're supposed to help them with clinics, you help them in theatre, and in return, they train you in everything regarding that field. And if you're less than full-time training and you only appear for 50% or 70% of the things that consultant is doing, they'll naturally be less inclined to offer you as much. And also you're not available for all of that training. So it's less common for people to be doing less than full-time training for surgical specialties. With A&E, it's very common, and they're quite actually open about it. At St Thomas's, I worked in the emergency department. There's a lot of less than full-time trainees there, and some of the consultants went through as less than full-time, and they did a lot of work with MSF and a lot of other different charity organizations, spent a lot of time abroad, did PhDs, less than full-time training. So ED is actually a fantastic specialty. And I would also say, don't rule out GP.
I'm not ruling it out at all.
But as in, like, you can do a lot of practical stuff. We have a lot of GPs that work with the ear, nose and throat department. So they come in and they do a lot of the practical stuff within the department. I know a lot of GPs that do a lot of really cool stuff. So
you can have your specialty interest area, and you can choose ED for that, for example.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
It's also the quickest route.
Yeah, that's true. Quickest route to finishing specialization. All right, Mo, I wanna finish this off. I'm cognizant we're getting far over the 1 hour limit. I feel like we could easily talk for another hour.
Easily, mate. We'll do a 10-hour podcast next.
Next 10-hour study with me, but 10-hour podcast with me. I wanna ask you one last thing, which is, for a lot of the people listening, they're either pre-medical students or medical students, and I just want to ask you, if you had one piece of wisdom, one piece of advice to impart upon them, something to give them food for thought, is there anything that you would want to say?
The process seems very stressful, but at the end of the day, everyone's going through it at exactly the same pace, and you need to enjoy your life. Because when you look back at the time, when I look back at the time at medical school or my time at school, I don't look back and think, oh, I wish I'd revised 10 hours instead of 8 hours in the day. And I wish I got, 85 instead of 80%. I look back and I think about how I lived my life. So don't glorify spending your entire life studying and working hard. Get the work done, be efficient, listen to Nasir's study revision tips and get the work done, but also be sure to enjoy your life, because when you're happy, you're more receptive of information, and work together, because when you work together, you learn so much quicker. And just enjoy your life and create stories and create memories, and just do it all. Just say yes to everything.
Really solid advice. What was that tagline that you had on your Instagram bio at some point in the past? It was like collecting stories to retell them elsewhere or something like that.
Yeah, I think I came across like this. I'm not sure where I came across it, but it was basically someone said that you spend half of your life collecting stories and the other half retelling them. And I think I remixed
that's
it.
Nice.
I think it
put
might
the most spin on it.
I'm not sure.
All right, Mo. Thanks so much for your time. Honestly, this has been really,
Nasir,
really
Habibi,
fun.
honestly, it was a pleasure. We're going to go on that 10K run, and we're going to do that 10-hour podcast.
Let's do it. needless to say, everyone go check out Mo. He's that medic on YouTube, at extrasaucyy on Instagram. Is there anything I'm missing? Anything else?
No, that's it. That's it.
All right. There'll be links in the description down below or in the comments or something like that. And yeah, that's it. We'll call it here. Thanks again, Mo.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care, man. Bye-bye.
See you later, mate. See you. Bye-bye.
Amazing.